How to set up a veth virtual network. I'd like to set up 3 virtual network interfaces, veth, which can communicate with each other. To simulate a 3-node cluster, each program then binds to one veth interface. I'd like to do it without LXC if possible. I tried using created 3 veth pairs, sudo IP link at type veth. Created a bridge, sudo brctl br0. Added one of each pair to the bridge. Sudo brctl addif br0 veth 1. Sudo brctl addif br0 veth 3. Sudo brctl addif br0 veth 5. Then I verified if this works using pingaveth 010.0.0.202, but it doesn't frown. I added IP addresses to the veth 1, veth 3, veth 5 and br0 interfaces in the 10.0.1.x/24 range. But that doesn't help. Any ideas? Or a guide? All I find in how to use it with LXC. Or am I trying something that isn't possible?
For veth to work, one end of the tunnel must be bridged with another interface. Since you want to keep this all virtual, you may bridge the VM1 end of the tunnel, VM2 is the other end of the tunnel, with a tap-type virtual interface, and a bridge called BRM. Now you give IP addresses to BRM and to VM2, 10.0.0.1 and 10.0.0.2, respectively. Enable IP4 forwarding by means of bring all interfaces up, and add a route instructing the kernel how to reach IP addresses 10.0.0.024. That's all. If you want to create more pairs, repeat the steps below with different subnets, for instance 10.0.1.024, 10.0.2.024, and so on. Since you enabled IP4 forwarding and added appropriate routes to the kernel routing table, they will be able to talk to each other right away. Also, remember that most of the commands you are using, brctl, ifconfig, are obsolete. The iproot2 suite has commands to do all of this. See below my use of the IP command. This is a correct sequence of commands for the use of interfaces of type veth. First, create all required interfaces. Notice we did not bring up BRM and VM2 because we have to assign them IP addresses, but we did bring up TAP and VM1, which is necessary to include them into the bridge BRM. Now enslave the interfaces TAP and VM1 to the bridge BRM. Now give addresses to the bridge and to the remaining veth interface VM2, ooh. Now bring VM2 and BRM up. There is no need to add the route to the subnet 10.0.0.024 explicitly, it is automatically generated. You may check with IP route show. This results in You can also do it backwards, i.e. from VM2 back to BRM. The most useful application of NICs of the veth kind is a network namespace, which is what is used in Linux containers, LXC. You start one called NNSM as follows. Then we transfer VM2 to it. We endow the new network namespace with a low interface, absolutely necessary. We allow NATing in the main machine. If you are connected to the internet via eth0, otherwise change accordingly, start a shell in the new network namespace. And now, if you start typing in the new STRM, you will find you are in a separate virtual machine with IP address 10.0.0.2, but you can reach the internet. The advantage of this is that the new network namespace has its own stack, which means, for instance, you can start a VPN in it while the rest of your PC is not on the VPN. This is the contraption LXCS are based on. Edit? I made a mistake. Bringing the VM2 interface brings it down and clears its address. Thus you need to add these commands, from within the STRM. And now you can navigate from within STRM. The IP commands can also be done before the STRM with.
Here is a 5-node bridge setup that I use that works. You should be able to use ifconfig to assign addresses onto the nodex interfaces. And to clean up,
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.